This broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production.
The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Cruise and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Cruise and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio. We also stream live Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on Ustream.tv. Now, this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. And if you want to join the conversation, you're always welcome to give us a call right here in our SBT studios at 347-857-3958. That number again to the studio is 347-857-3958, or you could always take your questions and log them straight into Blog Talk Chat, and we will make certain that we get you answers while we're on the air. Irv, how was your day today, sir?
Great day, man. I'm finished the week.
Oh, the week is almost over. You know what? It's Friday.
That's right.
It's and what is it? Complain a lot Friday? Is that what we call it?
No, not complain a lot Friday, John. It's Soapbox Friday.
Soapbox Friday.
This is the only time in the week and during the show that you get the opportunity to air whatever it is that has gotten on your nerves. And so we use this segment of the show once a week to just talk about what is on your soapbox. And guess what? I got something I want to get on my soapbox about this week.
Let's hear it.
Why do people send emails to me in all caps?
Ooh,
what is going on
That's
there?
a pet peeve of mine also.
I mean, to me, look, email etiquette.
Yeah.
You have etiquette when you go to somebody's house.
That's correct.
You have etiquette when you go to a restaurant in public. You have etiquette when you go worship, wherever you do that.
That's right.
There are rules of the road.
That's right.
There's a way you do that. And the same is the case with email. Why do people scream in email?
You know, I think a lot of people do not really take into consideration that if you're typing in all caps, it's assumed to the reader that you are very, very disturbed about something and you are shouting through your typing.
Yeah. And the thing is, the soapbox is, John, why are you sending this email in all caps and you're saying, meet me at the theater at 8? I mean,
and all you can do is respond like, okay, you don't have to shout.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's my soapbox this week. You know what? We got to learn how to handle email better than we do, because now it's a part of how we communicate as a people. In fact, around the world. And I just think we got to do better about it.
Well, our communication skills as a whole need to improve, especially in the day and age that we're in right now.
Right.
One of my pet peeves, since it is Soapbox Friday, and I normally don't have anything
John
to say.
Cruise has something to stand on his soapbox about on Soapbox Friday.
But what I can't stand is when someone types me a long message in Facebook or LinkedIn, and it's an all text type. You know, it to me, it seems like you're going out of your way to use incorrectly the English language, and I just refuse to read it.
Yeah.
If everything is in these little 3-digit acronyms and that I can't understand, I'm not even going to respond to that.
So you're talking about these real cryptic messages.
Yeah, everything is LOL and LMAO and I'm like, GAG me, So I don't like that. In a professional setting, you should not be using that type of information to communicate with someone. And as it relates to email, we might even want to talk about a few points that you can put into an email that would, at least have you perceived as someone who finished high school and took the rudimentary English classes that you should have taken.
Wow.
How you communicate with someone through your typing is very important, and they see your level of intelligence, your level of professionalism through how you communicate.
Well, that's exactly right.
And your writing.
And the other thing is, John, people really should not write email when they're emotional. When you're emotional, Don't write email, folks, because the E changes if you're emotional. Did you know that? It changes from being electronic mail to evidence mail. Now we can prove that you were an idiot.
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
We can prove that you said these nasty things.
Those terroristic threats.
Yeah, we can prove that you threatened somebody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So here's the point. When you calm down, that's one of the basic rules, right? You got to write an email to somebody, folks. Calm down. Calm down. And then write your email. If you're really riled up, write it out on paper by hand, longhand. Because trust me, by the time your hand gets done hurting from holding a pen because you hadn't done it in so long,
exactly.
Then you'll calm down and then you'll be able to let cooler heads prevail.
Well, let's think about this. How many business people are in a business situation where they are following up with prospective clients and they're doing it through their writing,
right?
And they're not using the English language to its fullest capability, and or they're not using spell checks. So that means that they're not using the software package that they have on their computer to its fullest capability.
They didn't even pay for that.
And it ultimately affects your ability to get a sale.
Well, that's exactly right. And folks, let me just tell you, if you're in a small business and you're not using email, quite honestly, today, I don't know how you're doing it. You're going to be using email, and should email be a part of your business strategy to reach out and touch people and keep in touch and keep communications open, build relationships, and ultimately generate some sales? Yes, 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 and yes. But if you are misusing email because nobody's told you, here are some rules of the road, guess what? We ought to talk about that, and we're going to cover some of the. You know what? No. We are going to cover some of those on today's show, talking about some steps to writing some effective email, and more importantly, generating some sales from that. Because yes, email, well-written email, effective email can actually generate some sales.
Well, especially if you are prospecting for clients through your email, or what we will refer to as sales mail.
That's right.
And if you are doing that with a sales effort, you want to know how your team corresponds with people. What are they actually saying? How are they saying it? And are they representing the company to its fullest? So if you have any salespeople, they should definitely tune in today, because we're going to talk about some of those aspects as it relates to sending email from the standpoint of trying to win a client.
That's exactly right.
Now, there are myriad of things that we can start with, and we've named some of them in the first few minutes, and I think it goes without saying. One of the things that you just mentioned is emotion.
Whoa, but gotta watch that.
Take your emotion out of it. Make certain that you communicate a message. But use the language in which you were taught in the 6th grade. I mean, type things out longhand. I mean, don't use all of these acronyms that you expect, because I can't stand having to go to my 21-year-old daughter and ask her, what does this mean?
My goodness.
What does that mean? It's like hieroglyphics, So the thing is, type it out in its entirety. You look more like a professional when you use the English language, when you type out words. Take your time and do that. Now, why don't we break everything down into 5, 6 steps?
Yeah, let's do 6 steps.
6 steps. And why don't you start with number 1? Now, we're talking about using email as a tool to win sales.
Right.
Let's go.
Okay, so how about this? Number 1, the key here is the subject line. All right? Because when you send an email to somebody, the first thing they're going to see is generally whatever their email client is, whatever their software is, generally they're going to see who it's from. And then they're going to see the subject line, what it's about. And guess what, John? If you blow that, do you encourage your reader, whoever the recipient is, do you encourage them to keep reading, or do you make them go click trash?
I would say that they probably go click trash, and then they put that in the spam folder. So anything else that comes from that person is thrown into spam. There are a lot of salespeople who make the mistake of not properly using that subject line.
That's right.
And that subject line is your best friend. And just as a matter of saving time, the first thing I do is I scroll and I read the subject line to its entirety.
Right.
I may not read everything that's in the body of the email. I may not even open the email.
Right.
But I do read the subject line.
Exactly.
And you have about 10 or so words
Mhm.
to capture my interest enough for me to either open that mail or to send that mail directly to my trash
Well,
folder.
with that said, John, now let's talk about some words that absolutely should not be in that email, in that subject line. How about that?
So words that would turn off the reader.
That's right. Now, you mentioned words that if you see them, you're going to respond a certain way.
Yeah.
All right?
I got a couple words right now.
Okay, what are they?
Don't start your email with saying that you are a dignitary in Africa and or that you're trapped in some foreign country and you need $500 to get back to the
Okay,
States.
so that's two of them right there. First of all, you're not an African dignitary.
That's right.
And two, you're not trapped in a foreign country where you lost your wallet and you need a wire.
In all seriousness, yes.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Okay, all right. Okay. Well, now let me ask you this. What if I'm just asking for your account number so that I can put money in your account?
Yeah.
How about that one?
Is there anybody out there who's still falling for that?
Of course.
I mean, after all of the 60-minute episodes and the 2020 investigations, is there anybody out there who believes that some prince is out there who really needs your account number with $6 in it so that he can wire several $1 million?
Well, he's got nowhere to put the money, John.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to take a short break. We're going to get serious about today's topic. We're talking about sales mail. If you're using your email in an attempt to get a sale,
right,
or to win a relationship, or to get a meeting with someone that you perhaps only met once at a network marketing event,
sure,
or if you're trying to get someone to entertain a phone call, what are some of the do's and don'ts of being able to make that happen just purely by using email? Stay with us. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes. More in a moment on sales mail. We'll be back.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is?
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan.
The storm's coming.
The legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Cosmos Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at svtmagazine.net. Here are your hosts, Cruise and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. We're talking about sales mail today and using email in an attempt to win a sale or win a customer or client or a client relationship that would ultimately lead to some business being done. How are you using your email effectively? Are the people on your sales team using email as an effective tool? And there's some do's and don'ts that you should not be doing, and there's some things that you should be doing.
Right.
We went to break, Irv, and you were about to enlighten us on writing a compelling subject line. What's involved in that?
Yeah, well, I was kind of focusing on what not to put in a subject line. Okay. And there are some words, you can write a subject line and say just about whatever you need to, but there are some words, John, that really will immediately devalue the email. And here's the point, folks. If you've gone to the trouble of building an opt-in distribution list, guess what? Don't blow up your investment by writing poor email. Right?
Yes.
And so here's the thing. So here's the 5 things. 5 things, folks, that you should not have in the subject line of your email when you're trying to make a sale. Guess what the number 1 word is, John? Come on.
I have no clue.
Free.
A word that's been used and used and used again.
Please don't put free in the subject line of the email. Here's why. Everyone else did.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so by the time a person has gotten 67 emails with the subject line free, they're going to start to be a little bit wary and cautious about what exactly is going on here and lump you in the basket with everyone else who doesn't know what to put in a subject line.
And you're right. I mean, you think about it, when a professional reads the word free, especially if you're abusing it with, free, and then you have 3 or 4 exclamation points behind it. Certainly, we start to think that, okay, where is the cost?
Right.
What is this going to cost me?
Yeah.
Or,
how much does free cost?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you, instead of free, how about discussing the value behind what you're sending over instead of saying, hey, free, or you get this with your purchase.
That's exactly right. So the subject line, folks, you got to remember, the purpose of the subject line is to get the reader to continue to read. That's the goal. Nothing more. The subject line is supposed to encourage the reader to continue to read. Nothing more.
That means opening your email and continuing to look at what you sent.
That's exactly right. Make them open the email, and free is not one of those words that help them do that. All right, so free. Next one, sale. Well, guess what? If you're writing a sale mail, I know what you're thinking. Well, Irv, why can't I say I have something on sale? Guess what, folks? They probably know you're selling something.
Yeah.
Right? Give your audience a little bit of credit here and help them understand, and just treat them like adults, all right? Assume they know that you're going to be selling something. They're going to be looking for it anyway. And here's the point. They assume you are selling something.
Why else would you be contacting?
Why else would you be contacting them? They know they're going to read through. Encourage them to read through to find out what it is you're selling.
Right.
How many times, John, have we as salespeople gotten in front of a prospect and they say, "Okay, John, go ahead and tell me what you're selling."
Oh, all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. And I've seen this so many times too, Irv, is that when a salesperson is approached like that, before they start their pitch, they almost don't know where to go from there.
That's exactly right.
Because now it's like you've been set up, and they're ready to, it's staged now for you to come out with your pitch, and it sort of takes the wind out of your sails.
Yeah, and it really does, and that's why our conversation on yesterday was really so great. By the way, folks, if you didn't hear yesterday's show, go to cruisandhughes.com and listen to yesterday's show. It was fantastic and kind of dovetailed into what we're talking about here. So sale, S-A-L-E. Don't have that in your subject line. Number 3, new. Don't have that in your subject line. The word new, N-E-W. Well, you say, well, wait a minute, Irv, I have a new product. This is a new introduction. Well, everybody's got a new introduction. It's some sort of an announcement, obviously, right? That's okay. How about instead of new, how about this? You ready?
Let's hear it.
How about an announcement? That's okay. You're announcing. What you want to do is you want to announce something new. But do you put that in the subject line? Who doesn't want to read what the announcement is? Whatever the announcement is about. Right? So that's a word. Keep that word out of your subject line. Is it okay to put new in the body and any of the rest of these words? Of course. But in the subject line, folks, we're talking about the subject line, not the body of the email, the subject.
That's correct.
Okay? All right. Next one, number 4, hot.
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 Hot off the presses.
Hot off the presses. Do it now.
Muy caliente.
Hot sale. Right?
A hot free new sale.
A new free hot sale. Don't put that in your subject line.
Yeah,
okay?
Unless you're selling flapjacks. I mean,
you
know, stay away from the word hot. Yeah, it's been abused.
It's been abused.
And it's a turn off.
It is a turn off. Even for, well, no, I won't go there. It's a turn off. Okay? And the last one, act now. Well, guess what? By virtue of you sending email, almost is a de facto impression that you want them to act now because you've chosen the most immediate way to communicate with them.
Right.
And guess what? Let me just tell you a secret. Because you send email, they're actually expecting, if it's an offer they want to take advantage of, hopefully you put, I'm going to go down and talk about this, but hopefully you put some sort of mechanism in there so that they can act now.
Right.
You don't have to tell them to act now. If it's something they want, guess what? They'll act now. That's the way it works.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go back through those. It's free, sale, new, hot, act now. Those types of things, keep them out of your subject line. Now, albeit true, you should keep the subject line short. So that you keep the attention of the reader, but try to stay away from some of those words that just have become so redundant in email marketing campaigns. All we're saying is don't placate the intelligence of your customer.
Right. Exactly.
Just assume that, you know, if you have something that has enough value expressed, that they're going to open the email and they will at least give you the opportunity of a read. But try to stay away from those words.
Try to stay away from those words. And guess what? Because of that, John, what I've done is I've kind of organized emails into 3 different categories.
Okay.
All right. So 3 categories of sales mail. All right. Number 1, the unprofessional one.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of touched on that earlier.
Okay.
Number 2, lackluster or lukewarm. That's when you almost did it, but no cigar.
Yeah.
And then number 3, of course, the winners that compelled somebody to actually make a purchase, where they actually took the call to action and did whatever it is that you were instructing them to do.
So unprofessional, lackluster, and a winning email.
And
those are the 3 categories.
Those are the 3 categories. There are only 3 types of email, and that's them. Okay. Now, unprofessional. What does that mean? By definition, it's a poorly written email, kind of like what you were talking about earlier, John.
Text talk.
It's text. It's LMFAO.
Yeah,
really. Okay. Well, maybe ROTFOL, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that's a poorly written, unprofessional email.
Right.
Don't put that in an email. All right. Next thing, poor grammar. All right. Unless you're doing it for effect, folks, use American Standard English.
Correct.
Okay. Colloquialisms. That's if you're in a Spanish market and you want to write a Spanish email, one of the Spanish words is el avión.
Mm-hmm.
That's Spanish for airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're in Texas. If you're in South Texas, it's el aeroplano.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, if you're writing in an email, don't use colloquialisms. Put the real word in there. Whatever the language is, use that word. That's the point.
Gotcha.
Use those kinds of words. All right. So make sure that you keep your email from being unprofessional. Now, lackluster, and this makes up the brunt of most emails. They're just short of what they need to be. Very few people write a completely unprofessional email. Every once in a while you run across people, and I'm talking about business people now. Very few people write a completely, totally unprofessional email. You run across them probably more often than we should, but very few people do that. Most people fall in this category where the email communication is just lackluster. It doesn't have all the stuff in it that's necessary to invoke an action or a sale. Messages that literally has the reader going, so
what?
I don't care. I mean, what does that have to do with me?
Right.
I don't know why you sent this.
Yeah.
This kind of thing.
And so you would say that the vast majority of mail that's written from a sales standpoint fits into this category.
That's right. That's where most of it fits, because most people hadn't done the research on their customer well enough to know even how to talk to them.
Surely.
And so it's a dead giveaway that perhaps you've missed the market when you write an email and gets no kinds of response because now the email wasn't written with enough bite in it or written to the wrong group of people.
Right.
All right. So that's number 2. And then number 3, the winners that actually compelled us to buy something. How do those emails look?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I get I buy a lot online, so I see this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's always interesting that the emails that get my attention the most, and call me narcissistic, but if an email says Irv, that helps a lot.
Yes, it does. Using my name.
Use my name, because I'm more apt to want to look at what it is you're saying, because somehow you know my name. I think now you're speaking to me.
Right.
And I'm
not dear customer or dear sir
no.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Speak to me. Write to me.
Yes.
All right. So that's an example of a winning type of email to write. And folks, you just remember this. You're still, whether you're writing to a company, whether you're writing to a government agency, whether you're writing to some huge behemoth corporate client that you're trying to impress, the bottom line is you're still dealing with a human being. Even though it's email, even though it's electronic, you're still very much dealing with a person and how that person is going to respond to the email that you're sending. When we come back, we're going to now go through the 6 steps to writing emails that work. We've been talking about what doesn't work. When we come back, folks, we're going to talk about what does work. Okay? To have your small business featured on Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes, you can call our business office at 832-460-2020 or contact us, folks, through our website at smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting at a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan.
The storm's coming.
The legend ends in IMAX. What are you? Caution's reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irv and I are talking about how to write effective emails that you use in a sales effort. Things that you're doing when you're trying to reach a person that you don't have much of a relationship with. You're trying to compel that person to open your email, read it, and give you, your company, or your product a chance. There's some do's and there's some don'ts. Now, we've spent the first segment talking about the things that you should stay away from, some of those words that have just been beaten to death in emails. We've talked about how you form that email in terms of using the correct English language. And you would think at this stage of the game, as it relates to talking to business professionals, that we should not have to have a show like this. But I mean, we're inundated with email every single day.
Every day.
From offers from all sorts of people who are looking to do business with us. And these are just some of the most common mistakes that we see that are being made.
Right.
And these are reasons why. I mean, if I were to call you, some of these people, and ask them, how were your sales last month? I wouldn't be surprised when they say, well, I got 2 callbacks and I sent 2,000 emails.
Yeah.
You know, well, I'm not surprised. So these are some of the things that you want to be focused on moving forward, so that you increase the chances or your ability to get a phone call back or someone to be called to action, as it were.
That's
now,
exactly right.
We talked about number 1, writing a compelling and truthful subject line, some
Correct.
words to stay away from.
Right.
You want to wrap up on that?
Yeah, just really instead, talking about what not to put in a subject line, and you might think this is terribly simplistic, and guess what, folks? It is simplistic, because you want to have something in the subject line. Now we're going to talk about what you should have in a subject line, so I want to give you an example. Here's one that we really like that's proven to be really effective. Now this has to do with a particular training class that's being offered, but here's what the subject line says: how to build your business with government contracts. That's what it says. Now you might say, well, no big deal there. Notice it didn't say free. It didn't say act now. It didn't have any of those words. Didn't have new, didn't have sale, didn't have any of that. Didn't have hot.
Yeah.
Hot new training class.
Yeah.
It didn't have any of those things. Now, if you are sending a message like that to the right audience, they're going to say, I need to read about this. They still hadn't made a buying decision yet, but guess what? That's not why you sent the email. You sent the email to get the opportunity for them to buy.
Right.
That's all. A lot of people have that all twisted. They think, well, I'm going to send this email because I'm going to generate a sale. Not the reason you send it. You send the email to simply make the invitation for the sale to happen. Does that make sense?
Well, and understand, there's no email that you're going to write that's going to close a sale for you.
Exactly.
The purpose of the email is to give you an opportunity to give your pitch.
Right. Now, we're going to have somebody that's going to argue the point, John. They're going to say, well, I put a buy now button on my email and people click that. And that email made a sale. Did it? Did it really?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think what happened is you had a targeted audience that was already set up for that. You sent an email to allow them to make the sale happen, but the sale already happened.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. That's when it's really, really effective. When you see people having 50, 60, 70% connect rates or conversion rates on email, that's what's going on there. Okay, so instead, just write a simple, straightforward email. Tell the reader what it's about and nothing more. Number 2, deliver a clear message up front. Remember, your readers are busy. They don't have time to figure out what you're selling or what you're offering. They're impatient too. So they don't want a tease or a clever anecdote kind of leading up to the main point. Be direct, be succinct, and tell with a clear statement of what it is you're offering. Say what it is, just like we're saying here in the message. Now you've passed the subject line. Now go ahead in the message now and say what it is you're offering.
You know, just the other day we had the co-founder of the Act Software on our show.
That's right. Mike
Muni. And one of the things that he said that in this day and age in the 21st century, we are being inundated with information. He called it infobesity.
That's right.
And that means that from all directions, you're being hit with information. So the thing is, like what Irv is saying, be succinct, be clear, be brief, and be straight to the point. You know, you don't have to tell an elaborate story at the time that you're trying to send out this sale mail. You know, get to the point.
That's right. And make sure that your offering sets up the reader to continue to read. For example, one of the things that I like to see in an opening is a question. Ask an opening question. Are you looking for a better way to increase your income?
Yes.
Okay, that's a yes or a no. That's a closed-end question. Remember, you're not with email. You're not trying to ask open-ended questions so that you can start a conversation.
Right.
What you're trying to do is get the reader to arrive at some decisions because you have a call to action coming up in your email. Hint, hint. So you're trying to lead up to that. So what you want to do is you want to tee up the reader now to say, hey, let's ask a provocative question here.
Does 25% of your business come from government, municipalities, or from the state in which you do business?
Yeah, and if not, read on.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
If you would like it to, read on.
Right.
If you're not getting your share of all the billions that you see going across the wires in the newspapers and contracting, guess what? Here's news for you. That's okay, because now you want to get to what you want to deliver in the message. Okay? Now, number 3. Guess what number 3 is, John? Deliver one message.
Just one?
Just one. I can't tell you the number of times I see small business owners, they'll get an email list and they finally got the list they want. They finally identified their target market, John, and they send out an email that's got 31 different flavors in it. Well, guess what? Today's special was just buttered pecan. Leave it buttered pecan.
Yes.
You say, well, Irv, wait a minute. I got 31 flavors. I'm going to leave out everybody who would really rather have vanilla. Yes, today it's buttered pecan.
Yeah.
Now, since we now know from your email that you're inviting us to join in and participate with you in your ice cream store with buttered pecan ice cream, because that's the offer you're making today, perhaps I don't like buttered pecan. Maybe I'll respond to you and say, hey, well, how much for the vanilla?
Right. Right.
It's my choice now is the point.
Absolutely.
It didn't turn me off. I didn't get upset about that. I wasn't angry because you didn't offer vanilla because I like vanilla. Mm-hmm. You were simply making an offer to me.
You know, and as I think about some people out there who are unsuccessful, sometimes you're being too broad in the offers that you make. Sometimes your entire business model is too broad.
That's right.
You know, and you do need to deliver one message. You know, for those of you who are carrying a business card that I can flip over to the back, and you have a completely unrelated business that's printed on the back of your business card, I think that you're sending a dual message. And that message that you're sending first and foremost is that you're not a professional. You're not an expert in one thing. You know, you're a jack of all trades. And that to me hurts your business. It hurts the way that you're perceived by your clientele.
Exactly right. And folks, you know, and I want to zero in on one of the words you said there, John, and that's unrelated business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, folks, if you are in the car business and you happen to sell auto parts, that's a related business. That's not upsetting.
That makes sense to me.
That makes sense. If you sell auto accessories, and you happen to also sell tires, well, that makes sense to me.
That makes sense.
Because now you're in a related business. It might even be a separate named company. It might even be a different location or what have you, and you have that on the back of your card. That's fine.
Right.
But, you know, folks, when it's Pablo's Hospital Body Fender Repair and Ice Cream Shop, man, you know, now people are all wondering the same thing, is that what am I going to get here?
I'm getting lost in your message. I'm getting lost in the things that you do, and I really don't see you as being proficient enough that whereby you do anything well. So where do you think that card is going to go the moment you walk out of my sight?
That is exactly right, man. I can't get past it.
Yeah, there's some people out there that will make the argument, though, Irv, that, you know, I'm the type of person that I can't just do one thing.
That's fine.
My question is, why not? If you're doing something well enough,
right?
Why can't you just do one thing?
Well, let me add this. How about this? If you're a person and your talents have afforded you the ability to do many things simultaneously, right? I'll make this argument. Then do one thing at a time.
I would agree.
How about that?
I would agree.
Is that a compromise?
Yeah, I think it is.
It's a fair compromise. Now do one thing at a time. If you're in this audience and this audience best fits this particular offering, then offer that.
Just even if you do have something else.
Even if you do have something else.
Target your client.
Right.
Whereby you make them that one offer.
That's exactly right.
And you're not all over the place. You know, define what you do and who you do it for, and go after that specific market. And as it relates to your email, deliver one message, one clear, direct message to an individual. If a person likes butter pecan ice cream,
right,
advertise just butter pecan ice cream, not hot dogs.
That's right.
Not hamburgers, not lingerie. Just focus on what you do for that particular client.
Man, I don't know how you got to ice cream and lingerie, but you got all the way over there.
Hey, my mind is a dangerous place.
It's a dangerous place. Number 4, provide value. Mm-hmm. Don't send an email offer, folks, without a real value. You know, come by my shop, and guess what, folks? Today we're offering free parking. No. Provide a real value. All right. Make a real valuable offer, and make it where it's something that someone probably can't get anywhere else.
I want to talk about that when we come back out of the break in terms of providing value, because some people don't think about what value is involved in their product, or the reasons why someone should be doing business with you. And that is what you should be selling.
That's correct.
Value, not price.
Yes.
Value, not product.
That's right.
Let's talk about that.
We're going to have more from the great Reverend Cruise about the gospel of profit, Profit, when we come back. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes, brought to you by Sales Nexus. Folks, if you hadn't gotten your free copy of Sales Nexus to try it out, be sure and go to salesnexus.com and download a great CRM. We use it here at the show. It is fantastic. Hopefully you'll use it. We'll be back in just a moment.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, to actors, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
Coffee News. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
free.
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for Coffee News. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's Coffee News.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan. The storm coming. The legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Cosmos Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at svtmagazine.net. Here are your hosts, Cruise and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. We're talking about sales email or sale mail. And if you are the type of person that has been prospecting, you've been out there and you've been meeting people, you've been compiling those contacts into a database. You may have even went as far as buying a database from some provider.
Right.
And now you're trying with all intensity to communicate with these people in such a way that you could create a sales opportunity just by virtue of email. There's some do's and there's some don'ts, and those are the things that we've been covering today. So if you're just joining the show, you're coming in still at a good time, but we do encourage you to go to Blog Talk, look up Cruise and Hughes, and definitely listen to this show in its entirety. And we invite you to send this out to someone else who you know that's in business. One of the things that we love talking about on this show is business strategy. We don't report news. We don't talk gossip. We leave that to the people who like watching Jersey Shore and those fantastic housewives of El Segundo or whatever city they're in. But the thing is, we like to talk about business strategy. So the things that we discuss on this show are things that you can use in your business real time that should make a difference in the performance that you're seeking. Now, we were talking about providing value.
Yeah, when we went away, we were talking about value, and you said you wanted to hit on that because what happens a lot of times, folks, in email offers, a lot of times small business owners don't really communicate what the value is.
That's right. Now, if someone were to ask you, what is the value of what you do? Or what is the value of a person buying your product or service?
Right.
What would your answer be? And you should have an answer for that.
That's absolutely right.
And I want you to think about that in your business. And the value is what you should be selling.
That's exactly what you should be selling.
Not the price. You don't sell on price.
Right.
Price doesn't sell anything. People will pay more to do business with you if they perceive you to have more value behind your product or your service.
Well, let me jump in right there, John.
Please
because
do.
You're bringing up a good point here. A lot of small business people believe that the only way, John, that they can compete is on price.
I disagree.
And let me tell you what, folks, if you have been duped into believing that the buying decision for most consumers, especially in this country, is based solely on price, shame on you. Because let me tell you what, that is not at the top of the hierarchy of the buying decision.
No, I mean,
nobody does that.
If you think about it, list 5 reasons why you purchased anything, a piece of clothing, a vehicle, and ask yourself, why did I buy this thing? And just tell me, where does price rank on that list? Now, of course, your list is going to change depending on the item. But understand, your customer is thinking the exact same way. Price is not... I mean, I know a place where you can get a Mercedes-Benz for about $2,000.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to buy one.
Neither am I. I don't know what's wrong with that thing. And even if you watch or you listen to our show, then you know I always talk about the fact that I ran a perfectly good company into the ground trying to be the cheapest person in my space.
Right.
And that doesn't work.
It simply does not work. You're going to work real hard for not enough.
Think about the value. What value are you bringing to the market? What is the value of someone doing business with you? Sell that. You'll get better results.
Absolutely. And let me just say this. We talked at the top of the show about John not putting some of these deadly words in the subject line, but here in the body of your email, where you're going to now make your value proposition. If you're offering something for free, here is where you say it.
Yes.
Now you say, hey, we're offering this for free for a limited time. Or, hey, if you don't have this, click here, take an action, do this or do that, and we'll facilitate this or that, whatever that is.
You know, one of the things that you talked about was saying that, hey, we got this new product or we got this new widget, or, you know, I know the T5 has been out forever, but now we got the T6.
Right.
One of the things that you can do to make old customers new customers again is possibly figure out the value of a new product, service, or widget and include that. Send something to them saying that, hey, this was included in your price.
Right.
Let's say that you have a spa or something like that.
Well, that's a good one.
You know, and so let's say that someone bought 3 or 4 spa treatments from you.
Right.
Well, you can send out an email saying also included with that is this.
Correct.
And now you get that person at least back in the shop, and
Right.
that gives you an opportunity to upsell them something else.
Right.
So you might even want to think about, what could I add on to something that someone has
Absolutely.
purchased from me to get them
Absolutely.
back in the store, or get them back in terms of back on the phone inquiring about, you know, this product or service.
That is exactly right. And let me that is a good segue, John, into us going into number 5.
All right.
Number 5 is, folks, show your reader how they're going to benefit. Okay, it's one thing, you know, in item 4 we talked about making the value proposition. But that's not enough. If you say, listen, we're offering a free security download for your exposed network. All right, fine. So, great.
What does that mean to me?
What does that mean to me? All right. So now in number 5, now you want to support that offer. You want to support that with, what are the benefits of my doing this?
Yeah.
Tell me what...
what pain am I going to avoid by doing
what
this?
What problem is it going to solve, right? Because it's important for them to understand, hey, try our free whatever it is, and it's going to do this for you, that for you, this and that and the other thing. Whatever those things are. In other words, you want to list, and let me just say this, please bulletize things in your email. Don't write these long paragraphs about benefits. Bulletize the benefits, folks.
Nobody wants to read War and Peace in an email. I know I don't.
They are not going to do it. Make it 1, 2, 3, ABC, or forget 1, 2, 3, ABC and put ... All right? But just make sure you put bullets in your benefits. List the benefits, whether it's 3 or 4 or whatever. And I'm going to just tell you a number so all of you can get this. You don't need more than 5. I think if you go, you're going to list here's the top 25 reasons why you want to do this. I think you've blown it.
Yeah. I'm not going to read 25 reasons to do anything. I think I should be able to read 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And that should sell me on the fact that, you know what, this is something that I need to do.
Yeah, I think if you go over 5, I think 5 is like the outer limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you run across somebody or product or service that requires a little bit more, but you need to draw the line at 5. If you can't convey what the benefits are to your reader in 5 bullet points, I think you need to rethink your strategy.
I think you could be right.
Yeah, absolutely. So now number 6. Number 6 is the big piece of this in today's show, folks, talking about selling with your email and opening those new relationships. And that means please include a call to action in the email. One of the funniest things that I see in emails is, here's a great email. It's structured well. I've wanted to read it, and they didn't ask me to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't tell me one thing I needed to do. They didn't tell me one thing I needed to get into. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about different types of calls to action that you can put in email that will be really, really, really effective for you. And so you don't want to miss that, because if you got a pen or something, this is one of those instances where you want to write a couple of these down. And yes, they'll be bulletized, so you can.
Yeah.
And
there will be a test at the end of the show,
yes,
so be prepared.
There's going to be a test, and we're going to test you. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes. It's brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. Stay with us. We're in the home stretch. We'll be back in just a moment.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Steven, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
free.
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan. The storm's coming. The legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm John Cruise Ervin. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruise and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irv and I have been talking about sale mail today, things that you should do to make an effective email marketing campaign, things that you want to include in your mail, things that you do not want to have included in your mail. But you know, Irv, I'm reading here, and I see that Cal is asking us, have we done a show on social media?
Right. Yeah, I don't think we've actually done a show specifically on social media. Certainly, it's hard to do this show talking about small business and not bring up social media, but I don't think there's, and you can correct me.
No, we've danced around the topic on several shows, but we have not done one specifically on social media. But here's the thing. Irv and I have a plethora of business resources that we can tap into for anything. If there's ever a show topic that you guys need to know something about, be specific. Let us know. Send us an email. Correspond with us through Blog Talk. Whatever you need to know, there's an expert that we have in our database that we can bring on the show. If you want to talk social media, that's something that we can definitely make happen, and we will do a show soon, Cal, and we do appreciate you for listening.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing, too, you know, Cal brings up a good point in our chat room, John, is that whether or not this is, you know, this whole social media, you know, hype and circumstance, as it were, is it really valuable for small businesses? Because some large businesses may have even opted out of social media altogether. And let me just say this, and this is I'll warn you now, this is an Irvism. Okay, I'll warn you if it's an Irvism. All right, I really believe that today, if you're in business, whether you're large or small, you need to have some sort of social media plan or campaign. I really think you're going to sell yourself short in touching the kinds of people that you need and getting the kind of customer information and prospect information that you need back from them to make a sale.
We did a show on the 0 moment of truth, talking about Google. We also did a show talking about the new direction that Coca-Cola was going. They sort of scrapped everything that they had been doing for the last 125 years. You should catch that show. I don't remember the date, but I'll give you the date maybe when we start next week. And that in that lies your answer. Yes, social media is here to stay. It's part of the American culture now. It's part of the world culture, and you do need to have that in your business. We didn't get a chance to close out the way we wanted to, but we'll possibly on Monday kind of touch on a couple points.
Yeah, we'll pick it up.
Guys, I want to thank you for tuning in with us all week. You've been watching and listening to Small Business Today with John Cruise.
I'm Erv Hughes.
And this is a place where we discuss the topics that inspire entrepreneurs from thought to action. So until next week, be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
Irv and I will see you next week. Go Texans.
Thank you.